Students, this would be the next class of FRM subject. As I have started the third unit, I have explained you regarding the forward contract, uh, the various types and various terminologies that we use in the forward contract, and I have already explained you some of the problems, and I have given you also to do the problems, and I don't know how many of you have done the problem. Just WhatsApp me in a group, finance group that has been made, all the practical problem whatever you have done. And I have already also I have explained you regarding the how to reduce the interest rate risk, foreign exchange risk, and commodity price risk using the forward contract. And in my last class I have explained you regarding the future contract, some of its features. So let's continue that. Okay. I have explained you some of the terminologies like margin and all, types of margin, settlement, yeah, order and all these things I have explained you in my last class. So today's class I'm going to explain you further part. All the future traders positions are marked to market daily. This I have discussed, like mark to market means daily settlement will take place. It's like every day profits are added and losses are deducted from the traders account. Here, as I said, three parties will be involved: the buyer and the seller. Buyer will be directly contacted with the clearing house, that is the third party, and seller also will be contacting the third party, that is clearing house only. Direct communication will not be there between buyer and the seller. Commodity, making the commodity placement to the direct to the buyer's house, that work will be done by the clearing house itself. And rupees also will be given by the direct clearing house to the seller, right? This is how the settlement daily that what we call the settlement of the contract takes place. Now, marking to market means daily transactions will be settled over here. Every day profits are added and losses are deducted from the trader's account. That is nothing but the clearing corporation. How the if the profits is been taking place in an like in an account in a settlement, then profits will be added. If losses are there, that will be deducted. So marking to market means daily settlement will take place according to the contract. Okay. Profit and losses are based on the changes in the settlement prices or closing prices, as such. Closing future prices. These are some of the specification of S&P, CNX, Nifty futures, S&P, Standard and Poor. Yeah. Underlying index, S&P, CNX, Nifty, Exchange of Trading, National Stock Exchange, Security descriptor, and Furex Nifty. Contract size 50 and multiple thereof. Price step 0.05. Trading cycle maximum 3 months trading cycle. Settlement basis mark to market, and final settlement is cash settled and T plus basis. Settlement price, daily settlement price will be the closing price of the future contract for the trading day, and final settlement price will be the closing value of this underlying index on the last day of the trading day as such. So mark to market, the trade price and the day's settlement price for the contract executed during the day but not squared up. That means previous day's settlement price and the current day's settlement price are brought forward. So buy price and sell price for the contracts executed during the day are equaled up as such. So over here, some of the things we need not to go in detail as such. Let's move on to the next one, that is basis and convergence. This is another feature of future contract. This is another terminology which you need to know. Some of the concepts which are commonly used in future pricing. It's basis. Basis means basically it's very important to understand the word basis, because it is a key to hedging. Hedging is nothing but to reduce the risk as such. So a future contract price will be highly volatile, because when it is near to expiry, the prices will be fluctuating like anything. So a future trader has to choose the contract in a rational way, in which the spot price of an asset and the future price of an asset should have a high degree of positive correlation. Spot price, once the once you have entered into contract, you will be for 6 months or 1 year, something like that. So now a trader, the buyer and the seller, whoever are doing the business, they have to choose the to contract very carefully, because there should be a positive relationship. It's not like that. Suppose you have entered into the contract for some 50 rupees and your spot price is running around some 30 rupees, something like that. There is a drastic difference, isn't it? So the price should be chosen by trader in such a manner that the spot price and the future price should have a positive correlation. Means like if 50 rupees it's there, like 49 rupees, 52 rupees, something like that. Not maximum difference should be there as such. So in real life, basically a trader cannot eliminate the price risk and most often exposed to basis risk. So because he cannot eliminate the price risk, without any activity there will be no risk. If there is an activity, you will definitely face a risk as such. So it is a risk to a hedger whenever it is an uncertainty in a basis point. A trader will be facing a loss as such. So basically basis is nothing but, as such you can see over here, spot price minus the future price. So basically it is the difference between the current spot price of an underlying asset and the future price of an same underlying asset as such. So in a very simple terminology, what I can say is the difference between spot rate and the future price of an asset is known as basis. Future price minus spot price. Okay, that is nothing but the basis. And a normal market basis will be negative since future price exceeds spot price and it is positive in an inverted market. So normal market means basis will be called as negative as such, because future prices exceeds the spot prices. Future prices are nothing but the prices which will be decided for the future, and the spot prices are nothing but the price that has been decided at the beginning, the current prevailing price. It will be positive if they are exceeding, but negative if they are exceeding the spot price, because it will be a loss for the long position as such. Whereas it will be positive in an inverted market means like opposite. If spot price is more than future price, it will be different for a same party. Basis approaches zeros as the delivery month is approached. So basis is once the delivery time comes nearby, it is said to be zero asset. So basically in future market there will be different risk like basis risk. This is a difference, isn't it? Contract risk, manipulation risk. Also manipulations will be like if a party is there, if a seller is there, he said that the same quality quantity of product is going to be shipped. Shipment will be taken place on this particular day, means when there is a reduce in the quality of an asset, quantity also. So what happens, it's a manipulation. That risk also will be there in a future contract, and simultaneously market risk also will be there. So those all the things have to be taken care by a contractor, the one who is entering into a contract as such. So convergence is another topic. The process of basis moving towards zero is termed as convergence. That means there is no difference between spot price and the forward price. Suppose future price. Suppose I have entered into the contract before 6 months that I am going to buy particular product for with you 100 rupees only. Till now the price was like 75 rupees, 80 rupees, something like that. Now it has reached to 100 rupees. That means there is no difference between the future price and the spot price. It's equal to 0. So now we are going to discuss about why that happens, because it is due to arbitrage. That means buying from the cheaper markets and selling in the higher markets. If future price is above spot price during the delivery period, that the trader can short a future contract, buy the asset and make the delivery. So if the future contract is above the spot price, suppose the future price is some 80 rupees. Now spot price is going on some 78 rupees. So what the trader can do, 78 rupees it is, but in a contract he is getting for 80 rupees. So what a trader can do is short a future contract. That means he can sell. He'll get a good price. Instead of 78, he'll get 80 rupees in the market as such. So buy an asset. He can buy more of asset because in the contract he's getting for cheaper, higher rate, and outside the market he's getting for cheaper rate. And make a delivery simultaneously. He can make a delivery also. This is another convergence as such. And basically, let's see some of the behaviors. When the future contract matures, the future price and the spot price must be same. That is basis must be equal to 0, except for minority discrepancies will be there due to transportation and the transaction cost as such. The basis decreases gradually and approaches to 0 at expiration. The day on which the future agreement is signed by the parties, the basis is high. As the time expiration approaches to delivery date, the future price will change to approach, that is convergence the spot price. Okay. So another terminology which you need to be understanding in this is repo rate or repurchase rate. Repo rate is nothing but basically it's an agreement. It's an instrument of money market. Usually Reserve Bank of India and commercial banks involved in repo transaction, but they are not restricted to these two only. Nowadays individual traders, banks, financial institutions also participate in repurchase agreement. Repo is nothing but collateralized lending. Okay, the commercial banks and all, they borrow money from RBI through issue of bonds with an agreement to repurchase the same bond at a predetermined rate at a future date. Okay, now the RBI changes some interest rate on the cash borrowed by the banks. So the rate is usually less than the interest rate on bonds as the borrowing is collateral. So this interest rate is known as repo rate. Borrower of funds is called as a seller of repo and lender of funds is called the buyer of repo. When the term of a loan is for 1 day, it is known as overnight repo, and if it is more than 1 day, it is called as term repo. Okay. So now thus repo rate is the rate at which RBI lends short-term money onto the banks, whereas repo rate increases, borrowings from RBI becomes more expensive. So reverse repo rate is the rate at which banks park their short-term excess liquidity with RBI. So what important points need to be noted over here is repo rate signifies the rate at which liquidity is injected in the banking system by RBI, whereas repo rate signifies the rate at which RBI absorbs liquidity from banks as such. So another important terminology which you need to understand is arbitrage. So it's in a process of earning riskless profit without investing anything by taking the advantage of difference between the two different currencies or two different markets. Okay, so buying from the cheaper market and selling in the higher markets. Next terminology which you need to be understood is spread. Spread is nothing but basically the future contracts are made on the same commodity for two different maturity dates. The term spread is defined as the difference in price between two future contracts on the same commodity for different maturity dates as such. Okay, so it's basically the price between two different contracts, future contracts on the same commodity for different maturity periods as such. So basically, so the next thing is cost of carry model. The another thing or terminology which you will be hearing in the future contract is cost of carry model. The common way to value a future contract. So this is nothing but valuation of future contract. These would be the most probably problems. So the common way to value a future contract is by using the cost of carry model. According to the model, future prices depends upon two elements: the current spot price of a commodity, the cost of carrying or storing the underlying commodity from the present day to delivery date of the future contract. So it is very clear that there are two determinants for future contract. One is spot price and the other is carrying cost. So cost of carry measures the storage cost plus the interest that is paid to finance the asset less the income earned on that asset. So cost of carry varies across the asset. For a non-dividend paying stock, the cost of carry is the risk-free rate because there are no storage cost and no income is earned. So for a commodity, storage cost is important, very much important, because basically um, cost of carrying or storing the underlying commodity from the present date to the delivery date of the future date. So that would be taken into consideration and cost of carrying would be done. So there are several components of carrying cost. So let's check out that. So basically they are divided into four: storage cost, insurance cost, transportation cost, and financing cost. So storage cost means basically storing and maintaining a cost asset, whereas insurance cost means insurance premium against various risks like fire, accident, burglary, etc. Transportation cost of transportation to the place of delivery, whereas financing cost is nothing but for cost of financing the underlying asset. So gross carrying cost is nothing but storage cost plus insurance plus transportation. Okay, so that is nothing but your gross carrying margin. Next, net carrying cost is nothing but gross carrying cost minus conveyance yield. Okay, the third one is conveyance yield. It is the benefit that arise from the ownership of an asset during the life of an future contract. So we shall now discuss the cost of carry model, and it is perfect and imperfect market separately. So over here, so the cost of carry model is in perfect market. They have the following assumptions like the no transaction cost for carrying on traders, the no restrictions in short selling and borrowing and lending. Investors can borrow and lend. So there is no credit risk. Hence, so margin is required. So cost of carry model is basically so there are no transaction cost for carrying the traders. There are no transaction costs in short selling, borrowing and lending, etc. So investors can borrow and lend money. There is no credit criteria, hence no margin is required. So cost of carry model is equal to SO 1 plus C power 0. So let's check out this. Some of the formulas here also it's been given. F is equal to S plus CC minus CR. F is nothing but the future price, S is the spot price, CC is holding cost or carrying cost, or CR is nothing but your carry returns. Let's do problems on this. R is nothing but the annual interest rate, T is nothing but your number of days until delivery date, and F is the future value of all dividends paid by the components of the stock index. So let's check out the question. As I said, I have given you the formula. Let me write down that formula first. F is equal to S plus CC minus CR. F is nothing but your future price. S is nothing but your spot price. CC is nothing but your cost to carry. Cost to carry, how you're going to do is spot price into R into N by 12. This is nothing but R. Yeah. CR is nothing but your carry returns. Next dividend you are going to take into 1 plus R into N divided by 12. For carry return you are supposed to do this. So this is the formula actually to calculate the future price. S is equal to CC minus CR. S is nothing but your spot price. CC is nothing but your cost of carry. CR is nothing but your carry returns. Cost of carry you need to do spot price, that is current prevailing price, into R is nothing but interest rate, whatever he has given in the question you need to take it. N is nothing but the number of months in a year, like that. The whatever the months is trading for, that many months you need to take it down for N. Ex dividend is nothing but he may give you the dividend amount also, like out of these many days, these are the days that has to be traded and these are the days that has not to be traded, something like that. You need to take that. Yeah. Let me show you the one question. We'll do a problem. Suppose that a forward contract on a share of a General Mills stock exists. So there is a forward contract, a future contract also. He is asking us to calculate a future contract. So basically it is a future contract. The delivery date is 5 months. So let's write down that delivery date he has given us. I'll just write down the entire question. Five months. Okay. Today's stock price is $36.375. So the spot price is 36.375. Yeah, he has given you that. And the stock will trade ex dividend in the amount of $0.275 share 2 months hence. So the stock that is being traded $0.275. So R he has been given. What he has said is the stock that will trade ex dividend in the amount of $0.275 per share 2 months hence. This means, guys, the ex dividend amount has been given. Carry returns you need to take this $0.275. So actually the delivery months are 5 months, but he is earning a dividend of 0.275 only at 2 months before itself. So over here carry returns you need to take down and as 3 months, because 2 months before only is taking that. I hope I am making it clear, because it will earn interest over the subsequent 3 months only until the delivery date. Okay, so basically future value, from future value it's nothing but your spot price plus carry cost minus carry returns you need to do. So let's do this problem. So, and what else information he has given? Continuation information. The interest rate is 6% for all maturities. So 6%. So R is nothing but interest is nothing but 6%. So let's do this problem. When he said you F is equal to S plus CC plus CR, oh sorry, CC minus CR, so spot price we have 36.375 plus CC. CC is nothing but what I said, what I have given you the formula, spot price. So let's start doing it. 36.375 into, you can check out over here, R is nothing but 6%. So here the rate you are going to take 0.066% is nothing but, it will also be written as 0.06. Number of months for delivery is 5 months. So you need to take that. Carry cost is nothing but for 5 months. The carrying cost also you need to calculate, right? So you need to do this. This is nothing but CC. Now you need to take this CR also. So ex dividend is nothing but how much he has given for CR. You need to calculate this. Oh, so CR is nothing but your open the bracket dollar. You need to take ex dividend value 0.275 as ex dividend. He is asking us to take that. You need to take that into 1 plus R. 1 plus R is nothing but, this is nothing but 1 plus R. You will not have this, or not overall divided by 12. It's only R by 12. 0.06 into, now you need to take the 2 months, hence he said you need to take the remaining months. So it will earn interest for remaining months as such. So into 3 by 12 as such. As I said you now need not to take the whole divided by, only R into 3 by 12. So over here the value will be 36.37. $36.375 plus, if you do the entire calculation you will get some 0.909375. First divide this, then multiply this, then multiply this. Okay, you will get this value. Then minus, if you do this calculation, multiplication, division, plus into them, you will get here 0.279125. If you add and subtract, you will get 37.00525. So this is nothing but your future price. Okay, so this is very simple as such. They'll ask you this simple questions also in the exam, so don't worry, don't get panic if you get this sort of questions or this much small problem for long. No, you will get good marks as such for this question in the examination. So this is one question. I hope I made it clear to all of you. So this is one question. We'll do more problems in my next class. There are some variations also with which you can do this problem. So I'm going to show you in my next class this variation. So this practice this is out of questions also. I'm going to give you in the examination as well as in the final exam also. This sort of questions will come for 12 marks, guys. It's not an bigger one, lengthier one, taking time, not time consuming. Also very simple problems. The only thing is you should know the concept, that's it. So in FRM subject also they are not very lengthy questions. You will be having small questions only, but you should know the logic as such behind the question. So I am making it very clear to all of you, each and every problem as well, the entire subject of FRM. I hope you all are getting. And one more thing is international finance paper the management asked me to don't not take for a while, for 1 month, something like that, then I'm going to continue it again. So you may think that why international finance has been not taken, why it has been kept on hold. It's been asked me, they have management has asked me to keep the subject on hold for a while, so that I may continue with the other paper. So I'm going to keep it on hold. I am done with the 2 units also in IF subject. So what you all do is try to understand the concept of FRM only. I hope you all are getting the subject. So I'll wind up the class here. See all of you guys in my next class. I'm going to show you more problems as such. See all of you guys. Bye all of you.